Hi everyone, it's Catchy aka OBiGem. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, please feel free to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell to be notified of all future videos. If you like what you see, please also hit the like button so I know to keep making content like this. So we got the gameplay trailer today, and it's been a very long day for me, so it's very likely that this video will actually go live the day after the gameplay trailer has gone live. So for that, much apologies, but thus is the life of a working small YouTuber, so enjoy this video when you get it. But there were quite a few features that I noticed in this gameplay trailer that I did want to dig into and really dissect, like I did for the previous video I did on the initial pack reveal trailer. If you haven't seen the two videos I made on that, please do give those two videos a watch just to give this video a little bit more context. But I am going to just jump right into it. I did want to script something together. I ran out of time today, so we're going to do this off the cuff. But there are quite a few different things, like I mentioned, that I want to dig into that just perked some intrigue with me when I saw them in the gameplay trailer. But these are in no particular order because I kind of made my notes as I saw it, and I went back and rewatched the gameplay trailer multiple times. So these are not necessarily going to be in the order as they appeared in the trailer, but I did make a list of things that I wanted to discuss with you guys and see what you guys thought. But first and foremost, the thing that I noticed was it looked like we got somewhat of a confirmation that we might be getting multifunctional locks. So like I mentioned in my previous video, 5 things you missed, I believe was the one. Otherwise it was the initial pack reveal thoughts video, but I'm pretty sure it was in the 5 things you missed video. It was the idea that the onsen lots seemed like they had more than one purpose. It was either that picture, there was a picture of like a bar and it showed like a group of Sims eating at a table, but also like a bar setting. I didn't really notice that they possibly were one and the same, and it's still a little bit hard to see whether they are or not, but judging from this trailer, it looks like they might have been one and the same lot. When you go into the lodge area that is connected to the onsen, it looks like that may be the area where those Sims were sitting and eating and drinking. And if that is the case, it would seem that we might have lots now that serve more than one purpose. You can go to the onsen, you can go get a drink and get a bite to eat. You can also take showers in the back after you've had your soak in the onsen. And I think that that is going to be something that's going to give our Sims a whole lot more to do. I think one big issue with a lot of the public lots in The Sims is that you go there and most of them serve one function, and that function gets really dry and really stale really fast. I don't know about you, but my Sims almost never go to the bars because they're really boring. You go there and you drink, and maybe you might talk to a few other Sims, and that's about it. It would be nice to be able to go to a public lot where your Sims could eat a meal like at a restaurant and grab a drink and sing karaoke and etc. etc. I'm pretty sure I'm not in the minority of people who feel like that's more realistic, and it's definitely something that would be way more fun to play with than to go to these public lots that have one function, and that function is kind of paper thin. So it'd be nice to see if the Sims community actually did a multi-lot, which it looks like, judging from the 2 trailers we've gotten so far, that's where we're headed. But of course, we won't know for sure until we see a bit more. I'm looking forward to that gameplay live stream because I think it's going to, again, continue to fill in some more of the blanks before we get this pack. So the next thing I wanted to touch on is the platform. So I did note my own disappointment in the 5 things you missed video, and the fact that I thought we were getting split leveling, but the way that EA described it didn't quite sound like split leveling to me. The platform seemed like it was functionally more limited than true split leveling, so I was a little bit disappointed in that, but you know, I wanted to be a little bit hopeful in saying as well, it's definitely better than nothing, and it will give us kind of what we were missing in not having split leveling now, so I was hopeful that that's where we're going. But judging from this gameplay trailer, my hopes actually kind of gone up because although the platforms are not what looks like true split leveling, although there's some scenes in this trailer that made me wonder if there were different foundation heights connecting to one another, or if my eyes are playing tricks on me, or if we're getting different foundations that look different. I don't know, we will see. But what I noticed from the gameplay trailer is what looks like stackable platforms. So I had the question as I was going back and forth looking at this video over and over again, whether the platforms we were going to get were just how we were seeing them, where they were just one step up from the ground floor, and that was the only type of split leveling we got. So I had the question of, can we stack platforms? And if you look at the picture where it shows the outside of the build, and it shows like this garden area, and you'll see right here in this picture right now I have on the screen the little garden area I'm talking about. It looks like they used the platforms in this garden area and they're at different heights. Like, it looks like we may be able to raise these platform heights like we do foundation heights. And if that's the case, I'm really intrigued about how we can manipulate that for building to create different types of split leveling that's more than just the one step up that they've been showcasing a lot in these trailers. So I'm hopeful that when we see the live stream footage, they'll show us what the platforming looks like, whether it's something where you get to stack platforms together, or if it's going to be something like the foundation tool where if you click on it and then, you know, scale up the up arrow, you can just move the platform heights up and down. I'm really excited to play around with that and see how that's going to factor into some really interesting builds. So the next thing that I noticed in this trailer, which just fair warning, I haven't actually watched anybody else's reactions or critiques or analysis of this gameplay trailer because I wanted to go into it without being influenced by what anybody else thought. So I don't know if anybody else talked about this, but it looked to me as though we might have the potential to build our own hiking trails. So this is probably a little bit more speculation than, you know, me inferring on what's actually there, but there are two shots in the gameplay trailer where it shows a little board sign that looks a whole lot like the community boards that exist in Evergreen Harbor. So if you have that pack, you know that in Evergreen Harbor, in each one of the different neighborhoods in that world, there's this community board that you can go to and vote for the NAPs. And so there's one that looks kind of like that, although it looks more like a travel map. Like if you've ever been to a national park before, they have things like that there where you can go to this main board and see where you are and see where you want to go on the trail or wherever it is that you are touring around. And it looks like they have that in this world. So it made me wonder if we may be able to use that functionality to build our own hiking trails. I know that's probably wishful thinking. It would be interesting though if that was something that we had access to. At the very least, I would assume that this is probably going to be an item that's in the debug menu. Whether it could be used to make true hiking trails, or if people can go on the gallery and build lots that are like hiking trails and and use these signs to make them look a little bit more realistic. I want to know more about whether or not those signs are interactable and how they will factor in to our Sims who are going on the hiking adventures that they've shown more than once in these trailers. I want to see what that's about. So going forward, the next 2 points I have are tied into the new emotion system that they're adding to this pack. The lifestyles and taking control of your emotions. They seem to be one and the same, but we're going to start with the lifestyles. I am a little bit cautious about being excited about it because they didn't actually shed that much light on what the lifestyles and sentiments were going to be in the initial trailer, and it was kind of something they threw into the blog post after they dropped that pack reveal trailer to give us a little bit more information on what those will be. And like I mentioned in my previous video, it just seemed a little bit odd because they sounded like how they should have just fixed the personality traits emotion system that we already have. So it seemed a bit strange to me that you would just build a whole separate system that's really something that you already have, but apparently better than what you have. It just seemed to me like it would make more sense for them to fix what's already broken and already there. But like I mentioned in that previous video, I was thinking maybe there's just too much bad blood as far as people not liking the emotion system that they figured it was just a smarter move to rebrand the whole thing and call it something else so people could get back on board with it. Which, from a PR standpoint is not a bad move. It's one of those things where it's been 6 years and it's a little bit hard to pull the wool over everybody's eyes on this, if that's really what they're doing as far as rebranding. But with that in mind, it just has me a little bit worried, because from what we saw in the trailer of what the lifestyles are going to be, they sound a whole lot like traits to me. I mean, things like sedentary, locked, energetic, people person, those things sound a whole lot like the traits that we already have when we're setting up our Sims in Create a Sim. So it seems a little bit strange to me that the lifestyles have these pretty basic traits like this that seem like they could just be great additions to the very limited traits and small number of traits we have in CAS when we're creating our Sims from onset. But I don't know, maybe I can be surprised. It does look like we could unlock some more of these lifestyles, and maybe there are a lot more than what's shown here that are a little bit more involved than the limited ones we've seen here, that will make the lifestyles being a separate from the traits more worthwhile. But again, that's something we'll have to see, and I'm hopeful that in the live stream they will actually show a little bit more of that and give us a taste on how it's going to be different, or how it's going to expand on what we already have. So lastly, the thing I wanted to take a look at was taking control of your emotions. There is a part in the trailer towards the end where our point of view Sim here talks about how this is going to come into play, and it shows her centering her emotions, and you see her smiling and with sparkles around her afterwards. Don't know what this means. And I'm not sure if it's going to be like a new skill, or if it's going to impact how your Sims handle intense situations and emotions, how this will make the Sims different. In fact, I'm still on the fence on how both lifestyles and this new taking control of your emotions things will make Sims feel more unique. It's no secret that many Sims feel exactly the same. You can, no matter what the Sims traits are, it's very easy to have a Sim just play out the same type of storyline, act the same way, just go about their day very similarly, no matter whether they are a sloppy Sim, whether they're squeamish, whether they love cats, love dogs, what have you. It doesn't really matter what your Sims traits are, because they rarely ever factor into how they move about their life. You can have your Sim do exactly what you want them to do, no matter what their traits are. And I think that's what really bugs a whole lot of people. The fact that the traits don't really pay off in any type of consequences that make the gameplay interesting, more dynamic, or even more difficult. So it'll be interesting to see if lifestyles, if this new emotions thing, even sentiments, which wasn't really touched on in this gameplay trailer, will impact how your Sims behave, react, and how it will make them different. There are some clues in this gameplay trailer that there may be certain quirks now that will show your Sims behaving differently in ways that make them more unique. For instance, there's a part in the trailer where there's this girl and someone she's romantically involved with. They are kissing, and it looks like they have two friends in the background, or they could just be passerbys. It's not really clear, but they both have two very different reactions to these two people kissing. One seems like a little bit embarrassed, while the other person's like really pumped for them. And I'm thinking maybe this might be a taste of how these lifestyles, how the sentiments even may be factoring into making the Sims more unique. I mean, it's a trailer, so you can't really get that deep, and I'm gonna be skeptical on how deeply this will impact your Sims and make them feel more unique and different. But anything is better than what we have, so I can't be too upset even if it's just a layer one beneath the paper thinness. We'll take what we can get. One thing I don't want to forget to include in this, because I did this before, is the social media aspect. And real quick, I just want to jump back to that, because it would seem that what we're seeing as a result of this gameplay trailer coming out is kind of confirming my suspicions from the previous trailer that the social media platform might be getting an upgrade in Snowy Escape. So as I mentioned in that previous video, they had focused on the Instagram shots in that trailer quite a lot. And so I speculated that maybe this means that we're going to get a more interactive Simstagram system in the game, because otherwise it's a little bit odd that they would focus on that. And I think we're getting somewhat of a confirmation, as the Sims team has actually let this main character from Snowy Escape hijack their Instagram on their social media. And if you go there right now and, subscribe to or follow the Sims, you'll see that Hina, that's the main character Sim from the trailer, she has taken over the Sims account. And that to me kind of lends credence to the fact that we're going to be getting some sort of upgrade to the social media system in the game. Right now it's kind of like an off-screen type thing, and by that I mean your Sims can have social media accounts, but really the only gameplay that comes with that is they can post things to it, they can add photos, but honestly, you don't ever really see the photos. You get notified when you get new followers, but it's not like you can read comments or you can really curate the post that you put on social media as much as it's a button that you press that says, add to my Instagram feed or whatnot. And then your Sim does that, and then that's the end of it. So I'm intrigued to see how we're going to be getting an upgrade to the social media system. I think it'll be great if this is something that makes certain careers a little bit more dynamic. I know that there's the social media influencer career. Maybe there's going to be some upgrades to that career based on the upgrades we get to the social media system, and as well as the other careers that are somewhat influenced by having a social media following, such as the acting career. So I'll be looking out for that to see how that continues to impact what we get as far as gameplay in the game. But with that being said, those were all my notes for this. I know this was pretty quick and I wasn't able to go as deeply as I would have liked, but since we're getting a live stream gameplay live stream for the new pack fairly soon, I don't actually really think it'll be worthwhile to go too deeply in speculating right now, because very soon I'll get confirmations or debunkings of what I am speculating if I decide to go down the rabbit hole, so I'm not going to. With that being said, we are going to actually jump over to the Sims blog page, because like with the previous trailer, they have provided a little bit more information for the new pack, as well as giving us some more tidbits on what else we're getting as far as confirmed features. So I want to hop over there and read through with that. And just like before when we went to the blog page, I am just going to read through, and then we'll take pauses if there's any place that I'd like to go a little bit deeper and speculate. So without further ado, let's jump into that.
Or at least that was the plan until I saw how long its initial video was, just with my initial thoughts on things I noticed in it. So we're actually not going to be doing that today in this video. I will be following up this video with another video tomorrow that showcases just going through that blog page and going through the different tidbits that we get revealed on for those key features and how I think they may impact the gameplay going forward into this pack. So until that video comes, guys, please do stay healthy, stay safe, and of course stay dazzled. I will see you in the next one. Bye.
Space. Girl, you told me that's what you needed. That's in my face. Yeah, 'cause you were coward and that was easy.